Hey, this is Leanne with Paper Heart Scissors, and Happy New Year, and we are going to make some mini Valentines today with the Simon Says Stamp card kit. I got the January kit and I really wanted to make a bunch of little mini cards with all of that cute patterned paper from Pebbles, and I also made little mini envelopes. So I wanted to talk to you about the pattern paper because we're really going to make the cards only from the very tops of the paper and use a couple of those little stamps with all the hearts in the row. But I always find that I love the little border on the patterned paper, and they match perfectly, and it kind of gives you a great, it does it for you basically. It matches up the pattern paper for you. And so I didn't have the whole pad because in the card kit you get some, so I really wanted to play with those little scraps. And then we're going to also make some mini envelopes, so our cards are going to be somewhat smaller. So I took a standard size 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 half folded card, and I cut that in half. So you literally have something that is 2 3/4, and then I'm also cut the end off, which gives you a really lovely almost 3 by 3 card and another nice piece. And you can use those on some of the other colors, or you can hold them to put sentiment, keep them to put sentiments on, or make little hearts out of them, whatever you want. So you can see I ended up, I'm going to go with the pinks and the whites and the reds today. And then these two pieces of paper were in the kit, and they are going to be all of the embellishments for the cards. And we're going to give them a little bit of a upgrade with some embossing powder. And so here you can see there's the tops, and I trimmed the little perforation off, but kept, you know, I didn't cut them in half. Don't worry about the hole, because what's great about making the mini cards is that half of that fits on one side and the other half fits on the other. And even if it didn't, you could put an embellish over the top if you were making a full-size card. So there's no reason why you can't use those as the strips, and it's already guided you and matched it up for you. So I cut all those out at a few different widths, and you can see here how adorable that is. And again, you don't have to worry about the hole because it fits on the front of the card and you don't have any problem. You just trim that off after we decide which one's going to go where. And then I cut out from those two sheets that had all the little squares, I cut out all the different little squares so that we could use them as embellishments. So easy peasy breezy, it's all done for you. It's all in the pattern paper, and I'm literally I just put some adhesive on that one, and that's going to go on there, and there my first piece is done. And I go through and I do that to all of the rest of these strips, and I just pair them up with the printed paper that they were on the top of. So you can see that it really is a perfect match. And when I cut it in half, it looks just beautiful on there. It's lovely. And those little dots with the gingham, and I actually used, there was another one which had those little white flowers on top, and I used that with the gingham as well. So I'm going to speed this up a little bit so we can go through this a little more quickly, and then I'll show you how I am actually kind of choosing which colors to match up in that, and then we'll assemble, and then I'll show you how to make the little mini envelopes with the WRmemory Keepers mini envelope maker. So what's really great about this is that, again, those little scraps are perfectly paired together, and they match beautifully, and they are also, you're using up scraps, which I love. You know, I always hoard the paper, and then I end up with a bunch of scraps, and I'm like, oh, what am I going to do with it? And this is really perfect. And you'll see we had so much paper left over after that that we could even make the envelopes out of some of the paper. So I pulled some of those embellishments together, and really we're looking at the backgrounds of the cards, the pink, the white, and the red, and then also which strips I wanted to put on what and with what embellishments. And then I decided I wanted to use those stamps, the little X's and the O's and the hearts from the kit, from the stamp set. And so I'm going to put them on this Tim Holtz really long grid block here. It's perfect if it's on a darker surface when you place it down, but you really can line up those long straight stamps perfectly with those grid lines, and that makes it really easy. And you can do it in a MISTI too if you want. I was going old school, and you can see how perfectly straight those are. So what I did was I actually did this so that I could stamp both at the same time if I wanted to, and sometimes I would and sometimes I would not. But I'm going to use the red hearts here. There was a little extra adhesive there. I was just cleaning that off, and just lay this flat and kind of look at where I want it to go. And then I'm using Gina K cherry red ink, which is really great color. It goes perfectly with all the papers in this kit, and it's of course great for Valentine's Day. And then I'm going to just use the hearts on this one. I think I decided to just use the top row, and I'm going to put a little row of hearts on the bottom as well. So I was just kind of looking at the spacing. I wanted to leave a little white on the bottom there. And no, you know, I don't know if you watch my videos a lot, you know that my table is a glass table. So the ink cleans right off of that. It has a big piece of glass on top of it, which is a perfect surface. I know that the new Tim Holtz Tonic Creative Matte has a glass top. I'm really excited about that too, because now I can go upstairs out of the studio and do some stuff in a smaller space. So here I am creating the embellishments, and I'm going to just take those little cards that I cut out of the pattern paper, and I'm literally just dunking them. I dab them on the Versamark pad itself, and then I'm dunking them in some silver embossing powder just along the edges. So each one is going to get a really kind of nice little silver border around the edge. It's not fussy. You do not have to do what I did. On this first one, I had not used a powder tool, but you can use a powder tool. But you can also, if you're careful and you're only getting it on the edge, then it's fine. And you might want to use a little cutting board, but you can see how cute this is. It now looks like a completely custom embellishment. And I did put some foam adhesive on the back of each of those as I went in the back. So there's the hole, and you can see, oh my God, it just fits so perfectly. It just makes my heart sing that I am using these scraps up, and that they were perfectly matched, and that they just look so adorable. You can just put it on there and trim off the edges, and you have this really adorable border, central border for that. And then on this one, you know, you can mix it up a little bit. You can use the heart and the X's and O's, those border stamps, in the Versamark also, and add silver. So I did that too. Just, you know, mixed up the colors and had fun with it. I think gold would be really pretty. You could do gold. You could do an all rose gold one if you wanted to find, or do it on white card and then use rose gold. So whatever your favorite embossing powder is, it would be great. So you can see I'm using Versamark here again, and I'm putting a row of the X's and O's on the bottom. And then I'm going to put some silver embossing powder on that. And these little cards came together really quickly, and they are simple. And I ended up with, I think, 10 of them. They're just really sweet and adorable. So there's one of the finished ones there after I embossed that and put that up. Here's 3 more. They're all so different and they all have their own personality. And I think that one is one of my favorites. I love the other 3 that I just showed you too. And then I was like, well, what are we going to do? Are we going to, how are we going to give these to people? Do they just go on top of a little gift? And I had gotten that new little envelope maker that you see there, and so I thought, well, we're going to make some envelopes for our little mini cards. So literally, because I used the scraps, I had some of the matching papers left to make the envelopes, which is so great. And you to make a 3x3 envelope, I needed a 4 7/8 piece of paper, and it shows you right there on, just like the big size, it shows you if you want to make the square envelope, exactly how big it should be. There's also a piece included that shows you how to make rectangular. It's got all the sizes for the rectangular. So let's do this really quickly. It's really simple. It tells you where to place your paper and where to make your first punch. And then literally you follow that score line up the side there and you score that side, and then you turn it 90 degrees and you line up that little green tab with that score line. You don't put it in the same place where it was on the board. You line that score line up with it. And ask me how I know this, because I did mess up one. And then I realized, oh, I'm not following the directions. So I'm telling you the directions to make it easier for you. So on your second one, you turn it again 90 degrees. You line that score line up with that little green tab there. Make the punch. And then you turn it, score it, and turn it again. Super simple. This can go really fast once you do two, and you get used to, kind of doing this. It's really very simple. And then here you go. You just fold the sides in. You can use the corner rounder that's on the back part of this. I just round the corners for the top and for the bottom that's going to fold up over the side. And you just have the cutest little envelope that perfectly matches the rest of your cards, and it fits in there adorably. And I thought you could take one of the heart stickers from the kit, one of those, and you could actually close the envelope with that and just use that as your little enclosure. Now, I did actually use some adhesive to hold the envelope shut, and I will tell you what the little trick with that is. Literally, you want to do the 2 sides that are below. You want to put the adhesive on the 2 sides that are below the flap that folds up from the bottom. So we're going to do another one here just to show you, just so that it goes pretty quickly. You can make that and then round the top and round the bottom, and you're going to put the adhesive on those 2 flaps right there. So when you fold up the bottom one, so I'm going to show you, when you fold up the bottom one, there's no extra adhesive on the inside that would cause your card to stick in there. So now those 2 are sticky and the outside of it is, but the inside is not sticky. And that's the perfect little envelope, and it matches its embellishment. It's so great. I love it. I just love it. I love mini things anyway. You could also take one of those extra scraps of paper and you can make a little label or do something like that. So these are the cards for today. There's another look at all of them here, and they really are so fun for you just to get creative with. I hope you're inspired to make a bunch of little love notes for all of your friends and your family and your favorite special someones. And this kit was just really fun. I don't do tons of stuff with pattern paper, but I think for Valentine's Day and for these little mini hugs, it's really perfect. And I loved having the extra paper left over to make the envelopes with, because I used the tops of the paper that normally you just kind of, maybe you'd recycle it, maybe you'd throw it away, I don't know, but they really are sweet. So here's another look at the last and final ones. They really can do anything. Get creative with them. Please visit me on my Instagram account and subscribe for more videos. There's more Valentines on my channel as well. And I hope you were inspired. See you soon. Bye-bye.